welcome to my book nook. If you're new around here, my name's Rainy Barton. I teach music and I read a lot of books, any type of genre from fantasy to romance to thriller and horror, the works. If you're interested in that, please like and subscribe to my channel down below. Follow me on all social media handles at rainybluereads. It really helps my channel grow. Today's video, we are doing an author taste test, the second one that I've done on my channel. It's a little bit of a series I've been doing. I did Zoya Stage, who wrote Baby Teeth last time, and this time we are focusing on the lovely Rachel Harrison, author of books such as Such Sharp Teeth, Cackle, The Return, and her newest one, Black Sheep. And in this, I was only going to read 3 of her books, but when I discovered that she actually had 4 major books, a horror stories like novella, and literally a 47-minute audiobook, I decided I was just going to go all in and read all of her books. So you will see me reading Such Sharp Teeth within this vlog, which was her release from last year. You'll see me reading The Return, which was her first book she ever wrote. You'll see me reading everyone's beloved Cackle, which came out a couple years ago. You'll see me read Black Sheep, which came out less than a month ago, and then I read her little horror novella series called Bad Dolls, and I read her short little Audible exclusive called The Veil. And so I really enjoyed some of these, didn't enjoy it so much as others, but honestly I had a pretty great time reading these all throughout the last couple of weeks. So I hope you are interested in this vlog, and we'll just see what my thoughts are. Hello friends, the first book that I am tackling for our Rachel Harrison taste test is Cackle. I've been wanting to read this for so long, and I've been putting it off and like waiting until the best possible moment to do so, and now is the time. I'm very excited to read this. My mom has read this and absolutely loved it. I have a bunch of friends that have read this and loved it. I'm very excited to finally get to it. And it says that this one, it's about this young woman meeting a witch. So it says, Annie, all her life she's played it nice and safe. After being unceremoniously dumped by her longtime boyfriend, she seeks a fresh start. She accepts a new teaching position and moves from Manhattan to a small upstate village. The people are all friendly and warm. Her new apartment is dreamy, a 2 aside from a spider infestation. Then Annie meets Sophie, beautiful, charming, magnetic Sophie, who takes a special interest in Annie and wants to be her friend. More importantly, she wants her to stop apologizing and start living for herself. Annie can't help but gravitate towards her and starts to spend more and more time with her, despite the fact that the rest of the townsfolk seem a little afraid of her. And there are some things, like her appearance is uncanny and ageless, her mansion in the woods feels unearthly, and she does seem to wield a certain power, but she couldn't be a witch, or could she? And so I'm about to 13% in this book already, and I'm really liking the way that it's written. So yeah, so all that's really happened so far is that Annie and her boyfriend have broken up because she's in love with him, but he's not in love with her, thinks they'd be better as friends, and so she decides to like move across town to like basically start her life over. And she has run into Sophie at the local coffee shop, and they're gonna like meet up for coffee again at some point, and that's all that's really happened. So nothing too much has happened yet, but I'm excited to see like where the spiders come into all this. I've heard that this book is a little mismarketed and that people thought it was gonna be like spooky, but it was more just like kind of like contemporary, like a contemporary friendship type book with like a little bit of like thriller and horror sprinkled in. So I don't really know, but it's a witchy time. I'm here for a witchy time, so hopefully I really enjoy this. So I will get back to you when I have read a good bit more. Hello friends, you're getting an update from my classroom because I forgot to film an update before I left this morning, but I got here a little bit early, so I've been reading Cackle, and I am now on page 195, so I have about 100 pages left, so I'm 67% of the way through the book. This is totally going to be a 5-star. Definitely. This book is straight vibes. I'm having so much fun with this book. It is just so cute. I don't even know how to explain. Like, it's not even a romance. It's just the friendship between Sophie, the witch, and Annie is just fabulous. Like, I just love it so much. Like, it's just, I feel like I just haven't read a book like that in a while with like a friendship like this, and it just reminds me of like my 2 best friends here, like how supportive they are of me and how like they're always willing to help me no matter what I need. And I feel like Sophie does that for Annie, and Annie's doing that for Sophie, and it's just the best thing ever. But like, it's straight vibes because honestly there's not much plot to this, at least not much plot that drives the book forwards. It's really just plot that's helped strengthening their relationship. And I'm 100% here for it. It's not scary at all. Like, it honestly doesn't have any really creepy horror vibes at all. So, like, this book is definitely misleading. But I'm here for it. And if you can hear rain, it's because I have a tin roof over my classroom. So, that'd be what it'd be. But, like I said, I'm loving this. Hopefully I will finish this today so that I can start the next book in this vlog. I think I might start Such Sharp Teeth next. I'm not 100% sure. But I love this so freaking much. So much. So anyway, I'm going to get a little bit more work done. I have to go to a parent-teacher conference in a minute. The teaching life never stops. Editing Rainy here to say that she did not tell you what she thought of Cackle. She never updated the vlog, so I am here to update it for you. And this was my best book, and this was a 5 stars. I had so much fun with this book. I loved all of it. I loved the spiders in this book, and I'm not a spider girly, so if you know, you know. Frank, we stan. This was so cute. I absolutely loved like the found family connection between Sophie and our main character. It was so cute. I loved the way it wrapped up. I didn't even hate the third act conflict. Like, it was just so good, and it had very good for her energy with her finally getting over her ex in a pretty creative way. So I literally had the best time with this book. It was basically all vibes, not a lot of plot. It's very character heavy, so if you like a character intensive book, then this is going to be the book for you. If you want a lot of plot, this is not the book to give you that. This is all just cozy, witchy fall vibes, okay? Witchy fall vibes, which we're here for in October. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into the next book that you'll see me reading, which I'm pretty sure is The Return, or actually I think it's Such Sharp Teeth, which is her book from last year about werewolves. And so let's get to that content. It's been a little bit since I've updated this vloggy vlog. I took a week hiatus off of this vlog because I was filming for Happy Halloween, the readathon, and so now that I'm done with that, I'm back to this. And so I am on my second book for this Rachel Harrison taste test. I'm not reading them in the order of publication. I'm just reading them in the order that strikes my fancy. And so I am currently reading Such Sharp Teeth, which I actually was gifted last year for Christmas as a gift from Haley's Patreon, from someone in her Patreon. I can't remember the name of the person right now, but it was great. Anyway, I am 60% into it now. And I don't know if I've given an update yet, or I've said what it was about. I feel like I have. So if I did, then I'm going to take this clip out. But it is about Rory and how she has a twin, and she doesn't go back to her hometown because some bad memories have happened there, but her twin sister is pregnant and needs her, so she moves back. And she runs into Ian, who is this almost old flame of hers, but then she ends up hitting an animal with her car, and it's a werewolf, and she gets bit. And then she starts turning into a werewolf throughout the remainder of this book. And so, honestly, I just love the way that Miss Harrison writes. So she's already a vampire. She's been dealing with the full moon issue, trying to figure out how she's going to be her werewolf self, who's she going to tell. All these different people. It's just been a great time. So I'm really loving it. There is some trigger warnings for a couple of serious topics like assault and other things. So just keep that in mind. But like, it's been very, very good. The relationship between her and her mom is very complex. It's just been, I don't know. The romance is not too prevalent, which is like good for me because like, I don't know if I'm really like craving or wanting the romance. I'm just wanting more to know like what's happening to her as she's turning into a werewolf. However, the little descriptive details of like her eating as a werewolf and stuff have been a little gross, especially because I've been eating around that time, and that's not been my favorite thing. But I'm really loving it. Her writing just does it for me. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's simple writing, but it's just cozy. I mean, she writes cozy horror. Like, this is the cozy horror author. Like, she's not like Mr. Hendricks, who is out there doing disgusting horror work. So, I really, really like it. I'm interested to see how it's all going to wrap about. I have about 100 pages left. I've got to finish before tomorrow at 3 p.m. because that's when this bad boy goes away. I know. I'm always like waiting till the last second to read these books. I don't know what's wrong with me, but hopefully after this I will start The Return because I have that. And then Black Sheep because I still have to buy that. We'll see. Also, I reorganized my whole shelves. And so I'm going to let you in on a little tidbit. So you can officially see all of my shelves now, all of the books. You can see everything I have because I did that. I put all the books that used to be stacked 2 to 3 piles deep down here, and I moved them up there because if I can't see a book, I'm not going to read it. And so any book that is up there is a book that honestly, I don't know when I'm going to read it. Any book that's on here is like either I've read and it's staying with its series counterparts, or I'm very intrigued in reading. And then a little spillover over to here. These are books that I'm also intrigued in reading about, but they're not quite as important as the ones on that shelf, except for this top row. Because that's like Mr. Sager, Miss Jewel, like different ones like that. And then that's all books that I have read. So, you know, we're doing the Lord's work over here. We're doing the Lord's work. Good morning, friends, from my classroom. You're going to see me a lot here this year. Oh my gosh, I feel like my hair is getting insanely long right now. Anyway, I have about 50 pages left of Such Sharp Teeth. I'm here a little early before my work day actually begins, so I'm going to plan on finish reading this, and then I will let you know my thoughts. It is either a 4 or a 5, or a 4.5, but somewhere in that range. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm absolutely loving it. Miss Harrison knows how to write books that really hook me and grip me, so I'm probably going to start The Return after this because I actually own that book, and then I need to buy Black Sheep so that I can read it, and also read it for Deja's book club and Patreon because apparently she's reading that, and so like I want to be reading that. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna get back to you. It's still just werewolfing. She did tell someone finally that she's a werewolf. Of course they didn't believe her, so like she's having to deal with that and navigate romance and how she's gonna have a romance as a werewolf. I'm honestly wondering how this is all gonna shape out. Is she gonna be a werewolf the rest of her life? Is this all going to have been a dream? I don't know how I feel like about that. If it's all a dream sequence, I'm probably gonna hate my life, honestly. So I feel like that's a cop-out when you write that. All right, here we go. Now say hi.
Hi.
Can you hold the book that mommy's reading? Or that mommy finished? Show them. Okay. All right, so I finished Such Sharp Teeth, so I'm here to discuss before I start my next book for this taste test.
What's that book called?
Lincoln, I just said it. It's called Such Sharp Teeth. It's about a werewolf.
Okay.
Okay, now listen. Shh. Okay, so I gave this 4.5 stars. It was very close to being a 5 stars. However, I just don't think it can ever live up to what Cackle did for me in this vlog. However, this was still a very good book. I kind of liked the ending. I just feel like it was kind of corny. I didn't exactly love how it all shaped up. I have a million and more questions about being a werewolf. I feel like we had just scratched the surface and then this book ended. What I really liked about this book, actually, is about how it portrayed feelings of when you become pregnant and you don't know if you actually want a kid and you still have to go through with it and like you're not entirely sure about becoming a mother. And like I know that there are people out there that like are not wanting to necessarily be mothers or never expected that they were going to be mothers, and then all of a sudden they're pregnant and they don't believe, you know, in abortion and things, and so they end up having the kid. And I thought it was really great commentary on that and like showing it through Scarlett, the twin sister, like her being pregnant and her going through with it, but then ending up developing a love for the baby. And so I honestly really enjoyed that because like, while that's not my journey, I know that that's other people's journeys, and like I still respect it nonetheless. So it was really eye-opening actually, but I loved it. Miss Harrison just knows how to write books that like cut to the quick. So I'm loving this. I am having the best time. I'm so glad I chose her for this taste test because she is splendid. I still need to read Black Sheep and I still need to read The Return, and I own The Return, so that is the next one we are going to get to. And I'm pretty sure this is her debut novel, maybe, not 100% sure. But it says, Julie is missing, and no one believes she will ever return except Elise. Elise knows Julie better than anyone and feels it in her bones. Her best friend is out there, and one day Julie will come back. She's right. 2 years to the day that Julie went missing, she reappears with no memory of where she's been or what happened to her. Along with Molly and May, their 2 close friends from college, the women decide to reunite at a remote inn But the second Elise sees Julie, she knows something is wrong. She's emaciated with sallow skin and odd appetites, and as the weekend unfurls, it becomes impossible to deny that the Julie who vanished 2 years ago is not the same Julie who came back, but then who or what is she? Ooh, sounds spooky ooky. And I'm pretty sure this one is pretty short. It's just under 300 pages. So she writes quick and easy popcorn thrillers, cozy horror thrillers. So I'm going to go read this, and I will give you a little bit of an update later on tonight. Hello friends, I am in my car for this update. Oh my gosh, my hair is just looking crazy at this time of day. I just got off of work and I'm at my dentist really quick at my dental appointment because I had to come in and get a set of trays. They like did imprints of my teeth to like put in my teeth to help because I have a bunch of dental issues, just bad health, bad teeth genetics, all this stuff. So I'm trying to take care of it so that my teeth stay healthy. So I'm a little early, so I figured I would do an update on The Return, which I am now 30% in. And I'm pretty sure this was her debut book, and I can definitely tell because I don't like the writing nearly as much as what I have now. Honestly, I don't like it. And it's not because it's boring, it's because I hate the characters. I honestly don't care for the main character, but what I really hate is the friend group because it's like the four of them, May, Molly, Elise, and Jules. And Jules is the friend that disappeared, and so she's back by now. She's come back, but she's like different. Like she ate steak and she's a vegetarian. Like people are wondering what's wrong with her. But anyway, they're like, it's like rich girl drama, which normally I'm here for, but it's like annoying rich girl drama. Like they're just snooty for no reason. They're very like spoiled, and like they don't have deep conversations. Like they don't like to talk about their feelings or emotions. They talk about the stupidest shit, honestly, and I'm just not really vibing for it. And it's a lot of girl banter, like back and forth, like useless trivia. So I'm not exactly loving it. And I'm kind of just wondering like what's wrong with Julie. Is she like possessed now? Like I don't really know. So I'm gonna keep reading it because also I want to read all Rachel Harrison stuff, but I'm not enjoying this nearly as much as the other books. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this one. But that was the update for now. I'm going to go in now because I have about 5 minutes until my appointment. And I'll check in with you in a little bit. Also, the bookstore is right here, and I feel like it's telling me to go, right? You agree with me. We interrupt this regularly scheduled programming for this cute baby to tell you that a book should not have a 97-minute long chapter. No. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Oh, don't eat the phone. That's not what this is for. Hey besties, it's a little bit later in the day. I went and got ice cream with my friends, and then I went and bought the last book that I needed for this vlog earlier today at Books A Million after I went to the dentist. And so I picked up Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. And so I'm very excited to read this. This is not the one that I'm going to read next. I actually learned that she has a short novella. It has 4 horror stories in it called Bad Dolls that came out in December of last year. And then she also has one short story called The Veil. That's like 47 minutes long and it's free on Audible. So I'm also going to read those, and then I will officially have read everything that she's come out with so far. However, we didn't think I was going to get through this whole vlog loving every book, did we? Because I finished The Return. And besties, I don't want to share with you. I don't want to share with you what I thought of this book. But it was a 2.5 star. 2.5, honestly. I thought about giving it a 3 because I still really love Miss Harrison's writing. Like, she knows how to write a book. Like, I really like it. I'm here for her literary, contemporary, horror-ish type books. However, the writing alone could not save this book because it was quite plotless. And I am going to go into a spoiler section in a minute because I just have to rant about this book a little bit. So if you're never going to read this book, then you can stay with me during that. But I will timestamp it. But I'm going to talk about why I didn't like it without spoilers first. It was so empty in plot. I mean, there was vague little bit of plot. So like the whole plot, I know I talked about this, centers about this girl named Julie. She's friends with Molly, May, and Elise, and they're like all friends from college. And then one day Julie like disappears, and she disappears for 2 years, and they think she's dead. They give her a funeral, all this stuff. And then she comes back and she's super creepy looking. Like she looks like there's something wrong with her. She's quite emaciated. They don't know what's wrong with this girly pop. But she is not the same person that came back. So they're wondering what the hell happened to her. And so it's like the story of that. And honestly, we got to like the 80% mark, and like, yeah, there's a couple of creepy things going on, but like not much has happened. And then finally she does that whole villain monologue thing where she just tells you everything that happened to her. She's like, I remember what happened to me. And then she tells you the story, and it went It went not well from there. I'm just saying there was like it was very underwhelming. Like it didn't wrap up well. Things were not explained well. Like this was just very, not good. I mean, that makes sense. She wrote this first. Cackle came after that. And how could you beat Cackle? How could you beat Such Sharp Teeth? How could you possibly beat Black Sheep? Like, I know she knows how to write a good book, but this was not it, ma'am. This was not it. And now we're going to get into spoilers, okay? If you don't care. So we're at the 80% mark, right? And Jules finally decides to tell her friend, her one friend, her best friend, Elise, what happened to her. Basically, she was out walking in the woods, and all of a sudden, this weird black shadow entity came up to her and like attacked her and just like ate her soul essentially and turned her into what? Lord knows. Is she a zombie? Is she a werewolf? Is she a vampire? What is she? We don't know. It doesn't explain. All it explains is that when she gets the hunger, she has to feed on or eat someone. But she doesn't even eat someone. She eats them in this weird way. And then she can turn other people into this shadow thing. And there's a whole shadow realm of them just walking around in the forest. Little bee bopping around just saying, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat someone. And the end is that she wants Elise to run away with her. Elise doesn't want to. She tries to get Elise to, and then she finally decides to just let Elise go and like disappears back into her little shadow realm forest. And it's a year later, and they're all just reminiscing over their friend Julie that they lost again for the second time. And this is ridiculous. Also, there was this bullshit that was like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a red herring or something. That was basically about Elise having this deep secret that like she had an affair with a professor and moved across the country to be with him. And then she also decided to like become in a platonic, like kind of like cheating in emotional affair with her friend Julie's husband when she was missing. And she like thinks that that might be the reason that Julie disappeared and is all mad. But that had nothing to do with the whole plot. And I just can't. This ending was no. No, I'm sorry, but no. Also, this makes me not want to read Simone St. James anymore because she recommended this book. And Sarah Gailey. And those are two I have had not as great of reviews with, but also good ones with. So you know what? This is for the girlies that like that weird horror. That's not for me. So I'm very sad that this did not go well. I do have hope for Black Sheep. I do. However, the next one that you're probably going to see me read in this vlog is Bad Dolls. And it says, let's see. So there are just 4 different horror stories. They explore themes of body image, complicated female friendship, heartbreak, and hauntings. In Reply Hazy, Try Again, an indecisive young woman finds a mysterious magic 8-ball that might have the answers she's been looking for or lead her down a path of destruction. In Bachelorette, a bridesmaid attends her childhood best friend's bachelorette weekend only to discover the itinerary may demand more than she's willing to sacrifice. In Goblin, an unusually brutal dieting app wreaks havoc on the life of an insecure woman preparing to attend her ex's wedding. In Bad Dolls, after a death in the family, a wayward young woman comes into possession of a strange porcelain doll that could offer a connection to her lost sister. Interesting. It has a 3.75 overall, so that's not terrible. So I'm probably going to read that next. I have the Kindle. I got the book on my Kindle, the ebook downloaded, and I also have the audiobook. It's only 4 hours long, so I should read that tomorrow. And I hopefully will also read The Veil, which I might as well just tell you what that's about while I'm here because it's literally like so short. I think it's literally only 47 minutes. And it says it is... Oh, it does not have good ratings, so it has a 2.97. Sally has recently left an unfulfilling job to volunteer at a living history museum where she is assigned to the death house. Every day she dons Victorian mourning garb and describes traditional funeral service to tourists. It sounds depressing as hell, but for Sally it's less depressing than her tepid marriage to her childhood sweetheart. This becomes all too clear when she accidentally travels through time and space to a liminal world where the ghost of the living history museum haunt its grounds. There she meets and falls hard for Victorian-era pretty boy Nathaniel. Their heady romantic encounter douses Sally in the sad reality that her marriage is anything but and leave her tempted to join Nathaniel permanently in his realm. Is Sally's marriage literally a fate worse than death, or is there another way altogether? Damn. This book does not have good reviews. But it's a short story, right? I mean, it's 47 minutes long. I think we can make it work. Okay. I'm going to go read Bad Dolls and probably The Veil, and then I'll come back to you, and then we'll wrap it all up with Black Sheep. Hello, friends. Back at you from my classroom because that's where we always be right about now, and I'm here with an update And it's the next day. I'm working on stuff for work, but I'm taking like a 10-minute lunch break to read some of Bad Dolls by Rachel Harrison. So this is her 4 novella like horror stories, or it's a novella of 4 horror stories. And so I just read the first one, which was called like Reply Hazy, Ask Again. And that one is about this girl, and I can't remember her name already because it was that boring to me. This girl that finds a magic 8-ball, like an old magic 8-ball at a yard sale, and buys it and basically starts asking it, you know, typical questions, and then it starts talking back to her. And she ends up starting to use it to influence her life in major ways. And this was not a horror story. This was not even a little bit. I thought it was a really intriguing concept, but it kind of didn't really go anywhere. And the end was like very lackluster. So like if I was to rate this on the horror scale, it's like a 0. And if I was to rate it in terms of enjoyment, I mean, I like Rachel Harrison's writing. Like, I don't know what else to say. So like it would at least get a 3-star, but like honestly, it was kind of a 2-star because this was not a horror. And it just was. I feel like this story could have gone a lot further, but it didn't really. And so I'm about to read the next one, which is called Bachelorette. I have no idea what it's about because I don't remember what these stories are all about, but you know, we're just going to go with it. And I probably am going to update for you after each story, and then we'll see how this goes. So first story done. I'm probably going to listen to the next one as I am working. I also am at the same time listening to the 7-Year Slip because I'm trying to read romance books that I think are going to be on the romance top 20, so that for Goodreads, so that I have less books to read. So like I'm reading horror and also reading romance. Fun time. All right, I'll check back in with you in a bit. Hello friends, I'm driving, so I'm not going to be looking at the camera, but I wanted to talk about the second horror story in Bad Dolls by Rachel Harrison, and it was called Bachelorette. And basically, oh, we're about to be at a red light, so that's good. So basically it's about this girl, Haley, and Natalie, and her best friend Haley is getting married. They're at her bachelorette party and they decide to do a blood ritual, which is basically where the bride goes around and asks each of her bridesmaids for like an offering, like, I wish that you would give me your gift of creativity or your gift of planning and whatnot. And they say sure, and then they literally let her cut their hand open and drain some blood into a cup for her to drink at the end. It's very creepy. Anyway, it's basically about that ritual and what happens in the ritual. And the concept is also great, but then again, it was not very horrific. That ending was just meh. These are not horror books. I don't know why we keep labeling Miss Harrison as horror. Honestly, she's just cozy mystery. Maybe cozy horror is her vibe. Maybe she's a cozy horror person. These are not horror stories. So like, I'm sure I'm going to read the last 2 and think the same thing. But on the horror scale, this one is a little bit more horrifying than the Magic 8-Ball one. So maybe a 1 or a 2 on the horror scale. But like, that's still not a lot. I'm still really enjoying it. Like I said, I love her writing. But this is just not very horrific. So I'm going to listen to the next one. It's called Goblin, and let you know my thoughts. Hello friends, I'm having a day. I left my lunch at home. I left my keys at home. I left my phone at home, and I had to turn around and grab the phone, but I didn't remember the keys or the lunch in the process of that, so there you go. Lincoln was having a fit today, didn't want to leave me, was crying saying he's gonna miss me, even though he sees me every day and I pick him up every day, but whatever, it is what it is. And you know what, we're just having one of those days, so hopefully it turns around. Oh yeah, and as I was leaving, I had uploaded my YouTube video to release this morning, and I checked it. I just randomly checked it before I left to make sure it was in processing, and then I noticed that it said 9-minute video, and I said, this is not a 9-minute video. It's like a 28-minute video. So I had to delete the entire thing, re-download it off of iMovie, and re-upload it, and that made me late for work as well, because I was like, well, this video has to go out today because it's recommendations for my Let It Clue readathon. So honestly, I'm just kind of annoyed. But you know what? It is what it is. I can't change things. What I can change is the update I'm about to give you. I have a lot of updates. I have to update you on Bad Dolls, on The Veil, and also on Black Sheep, because I finished a lot of things yesterday. So let's talk about Bad Dolls first, because I finished that. The Goblin story was about these 2 girls that like want to lose weight, and so they download this app called Goblin, and it actually makes a little tiny goblin follow you around and basically tell you like, don't eat that, you're going to be fat and stuff, which like, not here for. And I would say it was a little bit creepy in the ending. Like that one was probably the most horrific of the ones that I had read so far. Like it was all right. Like the story was fine, but it was what it was. And then the next one was called Bad Dolls, which is the name of the story, the actual novella. And that one was about this family that their sister died somehow. And it doesn't ever say how. And in the midst of that, they move somewhere else, and there's this doll, like this random porcelain doll that's there that like it keeps moving when nobody's looking. And then finally it starts moving when somebody is looking, and nobody believes the main character that like the doll is like, you know, crazy and stuff. And the ending was just kind of like expected. And it was fine. I mean, that is creepy. Like, I don't like porcelain doll crap, but I don't know. It was just kind of what it is. If I was to rate this entire short story collection off of horror, it would be a 1. If I was to rate it based off enjoyment, it would be a 3. So I'm giving it a 3 stars. It was fine. It did what it needed to do. That was, and that was that. I still love Rachel Harrison, so it is what it is. Now let's update you on The Veil. So The Veil, pretty sure I talked about it already. The main little storyline was that this woman works somewhere where she has a hearse, and she goes to sleep in the hearse, wakes up in this alternate dimension, and she's like not happily married in her real life, but like married, and then she falls in love with this ghost, and she has to decide between the ghost and the man. And it was weird. It was completely insta-lovey. Yeah, it was completely insta-lovey. And the ending was okay. I kind of liked the ending. So honestly, I'm going to give this a 3 stars as well. It was a 47-minute read on audio or Audible. But it was, I don't know. The story, I don't really understand why the story was made, if we're being honest, but like it was good. And like I said, Ms. Harrison knows how to write a story and how to craft one that I'm going to enjoy. So like honestly, she's not going to get below a 3 star unless it's just bad, like The Return was. But even then she got a 2.5. I didn't give it a 2 because I didn't hate it, because the writing was still enjoyable. It just wasn't as enjoyable as the other ones. So yeah, The Veil was just all right. And it was a book that I read. Now we're on to the creme de la creme, the last book, which I wish I could finish by today at 7, because then I could go to Jan Agaton's book club discussion, but there's no way your homegirl is going to finish this in time. I've only read a chapter, so I'm only 7% in, but I'm really enjoying it so far, so it's giving me good vibes. But this one is about Vesper, and apparently she lived in a super religious like household growing up, and she left when she was 18 and was told she's not allowed to come back because like that religious community doesn't let you come back if you leave. But then she gets an envelope on her doorstep set like 6 years later, inviting her to her cousin Rosie's wedding, and it's at their family farm. So they're wondering if like she's allowed to come back, like if they made an exception for her. So she decides to go to the wedding, even though she doesn't want to see her mom, Constance, who is a horror film star, apparently, or was. And so then she comes back, a terrifying secret is exposed, and she has to deal with her beliefs and her own crisis of faith. And so, yeah, I've heard it's culty. I'm very excited. I've heard there's religious trauma. So honestly, I'm just here for it. But I read the first chapter, and all that happened in it is that Vesper was having to deal with these really icky men at like a restaurant, and the guy tries feeling her up and is being disgusting, and so she like uses magic or some shit to like make the nacho cheese burn his mouth or something like that, and then gets fired, and then gets the envelope inviting her back to her cousin Rosie's wedding, who she's getting married to is also like a big deal, but I'm not going to say what it is, even though you find out on like the 10-page arc. Okay, but anyway, this has been a very long update. I've been rambling forever. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go read some Black Sheepy Sheep, and I'll be back later. Hello, driving Rainy again with Lincoln in the back seat, and I'm here to film a little bit of an update on Black Sheep. Eloise is back there too. I got 50 pages in, and a bomb was dropped on me. Not one that I was expecting, and I actually had to reread the page once to make sure I read it right, because I was only half listening when I was eating my lunch. So I'm going to say a mild spoiler right here. So if you don't want to hear it, then cover your ears for about 5 seconds. I did not believe that this book was about being Satanists. I didn't know that. All right, spoilers over. I was not expecting that. But it was very interesting in the way that it was addressed, because I was just like, if you weren't paying close attention, you would have missed it. So anyway, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to have to see where this book is going to take a turn. It makes a lot more sense now about her leaving and why and all of that. Like, it's a little crazy, honestly. But it has me intrigued. So I'm going to keep reading, and we'll see what develops. Hey friends, bookish update. I am home after circus and things, and I am about 35% into this book, so I have about 180 pages left, and I am loving this. It's probably going to be another 5-star. Like, now Miss Rachel Harrison's writing is just like substantially better than The Return was, and each book is getting better and better. I am loving this so very much. However, I am interested in knowing how dark it's going to get, because of what my little spoiler I said earlier was, which I'm not going to reveal it to you, but I have a theory of something that's going to be revealed later in the book, and if I am right, I'm going to be shocked with myself because I never get anything right. And if I get it right, I will do a spoiler section at the end and say what I thought it was and like if I got it right or not. But I really want to finish this soon because Jan at Agaton just had her Black Sheep discussion with Aaron. And so, like, I watched up until they talked about spoilers, but I really want to watch that so I can, like, you know, see if I agree with them and stuff. They both rated it really well. Like, Aaron gave it a 4.5 and Jan gave it a 5, a low 5. And so I'm really liking this. It could possibly be one of my favorites of hers because I'm just having the best time with this. She's back with her family now, and no religious weird stuff has happened yet, but like I can tell the like stuff is brewing and like it's gonna get crazy really soon. So I'm definitely here for that. Then I also got some packages today. I went on Pango the other day, and I'd been good and hadn't gone on Pango in a while. But I bought 2 books, but one has arrived already. So I got Christmas in Quincy by Devney Perry, and this is a prequel to the Indigo Ridge series. So like this is a little Christmas novella that I plan on reading in Christmas time. So I'm really excited to have gotten that. And then I also ordered Mercy by Sarah Kate on there because I saw someone say that like the Amazon editions weren't available anymore. And when I went on Amazon, the non-people edition was there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not happening again. Don't make me have to buy a German version of this book just for the cover. And I went on Pango and someone was selling it for not an outlandish price, for $12. So I bought it. It's on its way to me. And then I also got my Clue Readathon merch. Woo! So exciting. I went with black, even though this is the color that I picked for Miss White's team because I didn't want them to have white on white, just because I wanted it to be neutral so I could wear it all the time. That doesn't mean I'm promoting just Miss White's team, but it's so beautiful. My mom did such a good job with the design. I love it. I can't wait to wear it for sprints and things. So I'm definitely excited for that. So my plan is really to read a good chunk more of this tonight so that I can finish this book up and be done by Friday night so that I can edit this vlog, have it ready for Sunday because that is the plan, and then I will officially have read everything that Miss Harrison has ever written, which is exciting. And then, yeah, that's the plan. So I'm gonna get to reading a little bit more and I will update you as soon as I can. You know what time it be, friends. Book update. I am on page 189. I have 98 pages left, so I'm about 67% of the way through this book. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I don't know what that says about me if I'm loving it, considering I am very Christian and I work at a private Christian school and I am liking a book that has to do with something not the best. I don't want to give it away, okay? So like, I'm going to have a spoiler section in just a minute. So like, if you've read it or you don't care to read it, then you can commiserate with me. I will say if you have a lot of religious trauma, this is probably not the book for you. In fact, definitely not. But the thing that I said, I predicted earlier in the story, I was right. And now I have another prediction. And I'm really hoping my prediction is not right, the second one. So I'm going to jump into spoilers real quick. I'll put a little time section stamp up. You know what to do. So we already talked about the fact that they are Satanists, right? They all are Satanist worshipers instead of actual Jesus, which was crazy. That was the first thing. We started talking a lot about her dad as if he's a mystery, like he's not around anymore. She didn't see him anymore once she was 10. Like she's like, and they're like making all these suspicious like remarks about the dad. And I immediately went, he's going to be Satan. Like her dad is Satan, like 100%. Her dad is Satan. And I was right, because then they go back to the wedding. And all of a sudden, the whole audience just starts freaking out and bowing and going, praise Satan. And then her dad shows up and then they're like, that's Lucifer, that's Satan. And he's like, I would have met you when you were 18. I meet all my followers when they turn 18 and pledge their lives to me. That took a turn. And then they took another turn. And now he said that the end of the world is coming and that he wants them to inherit the earth. So I have a feeling that the apocalypse is going to start happening in here in this next 30 pages. I'm also predicting that like either she's going to be offered up as a sacrifice or someone's going to be offered up as a sacrifice because she doesn't believe in them at all. So I don't know. I don't know where this book is going to go, but it's very well written and I'm having a great time with it. Also, who is George? Is he going to be important in this story? I'm just wondering. Okay, spoiler time's over. For the people that are not here for the spoilers, basically it has gotten very crazy. I had a prediction that happened. We have a new character that's come in. Her family is very toxic. I'm just really wondering where the story is going to possibly go from here. And I guess we'll have to see. I'm definitely going to try and finish this today because I also want to watch Jan's discussion and finish that today. So we'll see. All right, friends, I'm here to close out this vlog. I've got baby girl with me. And so let's talk about all the books I read. I ended up reading all 6 of Rachel Harrison's books, so it wasn't really a taste test. It was more just reading her entire backlist, but that's fine. So if we're going to rank them in order of least favorite to favorite, then we would have The Return, which is her debut, at 2.5 stars. The Veil, her short story, at 3 stars. Bad Dolls, Her Horror Stories novella, 3 stars. Such Sharp Teeth, 4 stars. Black Sheep, I don't know where I have it right now, but 4.5 stars. And at 5 stars, Cackle. Definitely my favorite read of the entire one. That was the first one I read. And I have decided that Rachel Harrison definitely is an author for me. I had a great time reading her stuff. I can't wait till her next one comes out, which I think she has one getting ready for 2024. Hopefully, we shall see. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do more of these author taste tests, because I had a really good time doing this. I have a couple good ones in store. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please drop a spider emoji for Cackle. And yeah, let me know if you've read any books by Rachel Harrison, which ones are your favorites, which one are you looking forward to getting to, is she not your cup of tea? Let me know any other cozy horror people that you like. And with that, before I let you go, make sure you sign up for the Clue Readathon, which is starting November 1st to November 30th. I will link a video underneath here if you've never heard of it. Come join us, hang out. It'll be a great time to compete and also read some fun books for November. And with that, I'll see you guys in a video super soon. Bye!